Today we're going to show you how to reset and fix threads that are damaged or broken on these pipe threaders. This stuff is very expensive. This unit right here costs about $6 grand. All right, so be careful. The unit is located up underneath the shelf here for the time being. It may move, but for right now it's right here. What you're trying to do is change the bits so that you get a finer cutting groove on your piping. You're going to be doing that later, but for right now you're learning how to take this apart. To do this, you got to lift up all the tools except for the cutting head. Now, in the tool crib, you got a little mallet, all right? And what you want to do is lift it up so that the face of this, the little groove, tongue in the groove is out, and hold on to it and just tap it, all right? And this thing will pop right out, all right? Now, hopefully you don't need to use a hammer on anything else, all right? You're going to take this and bring it over to a piece of wood that we're going to show you how to take this apart. Okay, now we have it on our wood. We have a little rag, so just ask the staff for the rags if you can't find them. All right. Now, I suggest that once you got it taken off, just get rid of the gloves because it's a little bit more difficult to understand what's going on. We know that this arm right here, and if you've read it in your textbook and you follow along with the exercises or the steps in the exercise, you'll notice that that closes and opens up the cutting teeth. Well, now we're taking it one step farther. On this handle right here, we don't ever want anybody to touch it unless they are changing the heads. Because as soon as you loosen this up, okay, the teeth have a tendency of falling right out. Now, you notice that if you open this up far enough, that this little keyway, all right, clip falls out of it. That's what you want. Then just lay it down on its side, and it's ready to go. Now, what you want to do is you want to turn this, all right, rotate it until you can pull the teeth out of this thing. There. Now, it all depends on where it's at. Sometimes, there it is, at the far end. All right. What you want to do is, you notice that now it moves freely. Okay, that means inside it's all lined up. All right. Now, you're going to slide one out at a time and wipe it off because it's going to either have burrs on it or it's going to have excessive amount of oil, and that's exactly what you want. All right. Use one rag, lay it out to put the clean parts on. This isn't a difficult task, but you do have to pay attention to what you're doing because these bits cost about $200 a set, and if you put them in wrong and then the student or you uses it later on, you can damage it, and it doesn't take much at all. All right, they're high carbon steel teeth, all right, and they last a long time. We go through a set probably every 3 to 4 years, and we cut a lot of pipe here. Okay. You notice I'm just for simplicity, I'm putting all the words that say rigid, all right, which by all means, by what I feel is great, outstanding equipment. You know, we bought a lot of equipment out here, and this stuff just holds up to the abuse. But if you go spend $5 grand or $6 grand on these things, you'll understand why. All right, that's the end of taking this out. The problem is putting it back in. Now they've almost made it idiot proof, but as we all know in the world and life, Nothing is idiot proof. You notice 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Well, hell, somebody must have been smarter than me, because on these bits it has 1, and it has this little line. It says insert to line. Okay. All right. What you have to do is you find number 1, and this will not fit in upside down. All right. If it is, you're forcing it. All right. It will slide in, but you won't be able to turn it. Okay. So therefore, this little notch has to be facing down, while this line is facing you along with the number. All right. So there's number 1. Number 1 matches up with number 1. We slide it in, and sometimes you may have to just jiggle it a little bit, because pulling it out, you misaligned it. And you notice that line right down there? Just put it right to the outside edge. All right? And it doesn't matter which order you put these in, just be sure that you put it in order with the number. Again, 2, 2, the little notch on the bottom. You notice I'm not forcing anything. I'm just lining it up. And you notice that all the grooved edges are facing one direction. To make it simple, I'm just trying to keep it in sequence. I've got 3 and 3. I'm lining it up. Get my last cutting edge. I set that. Oh, wait a minute. Put it in wrong. All right. Flip it over. 4 to 4 line. All right. Now, it's all lined up on those lines. Now all you have to do is hold this so that you can turn it and get it into position. Now it's, remember those little notches that were on the bottom? Well, they're in a track and they're not going to come out. All right. Now you go back and you move the little lever so it sits down inside and tighten it up a little bit, not drastically, all right, but firm enough where it isn't going to move very easily for you. Excuse me. Now, we use 1/2-inch pipe in here unless you're in the upper plumbing classes or heating classes and you use 3/4. Those bits that you just put in adapt to both 1/2-inch and 3/4. But for our training purposes, we're going to align it to 1/2-inch. Now, once I have that lined up there, then I want to put some pressure on this and tighten it down. All right, I want to check. Right now, the teeth are open. I close it, the teeth close. Everything works as it's supposed to. Nothing is loose. All the numbers are in the proper location because I'm going to check it. All right. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. I'm not in a rush here. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and go back to my unit and insert it into the proper fixture. Again, you should not need the hammer. Line it up on the hole and slide it in, and you just got to keep moving around until it drops into place. Set it back down and ensure that everything else is back in place. Everything runs. All right? Now, at this point, you want to have the instructor check this out to be sure that it's in operating condition. All right? When you're putting the bits, the cutting teeth in place, you want somebody to check it out. All right? Because you're going to be using this in the next process, and that's cutting threads. All right, so we're going to find out if you put it together correctly. All right, but we want to have checks and balances in here. All right, so now you're going to move on to another exercise involving this threader and the hand threader.